Bump.Set.Speak, episode 9. This is so exciting. Welcome back to another episode. Got an exciting one for you today.
Yes.
We're going to start off with a new professional women's volleyball league that was just announced recently, the Major League Volleyball. So that now makes four professional women's volleyball leagues in the American landscape, if you will. So League One volleyball, I think, is, as of right now, kind of getting all the attention because they're in their first season. There's the PVF, the Pro Volleyball Federation, also getting a lot of attention. Athletes Unlimited, sort of under the radar compared to the other two. I believe they completed their fourth season. And now Major League Volleyball, which announced that it will start in 2026. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is starting with...
2026.
Yeah, okay. And that is starting with the Omaha Supernovas, right? Who are...
The
like
founder, yes,
Yeah,
of the
okay.
Omaha Supernovas. So they're going to be moving. So they're a part of the PVF, and they're going to be moving to the Major League Volleyball and be one of the 10 founding teams of that league.
Okay. Do we know the other 10 yet? I think you had mentioned maybe the cities.
It doesn't say the, city or anything like that, but it does say Wisconsin, a lot of Midwest actually. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio, California, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, Kansas, and Washington.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
kind of spread out, but I feel like the majority of those are
Yeah.
in the Midwest
Yeah,
region.
at least like 6 of them. Minus California, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. They're all there.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you... First initial thoughts about this?
When I first saw it, my first initial thought was like another one? Like, is there really a
Yeah.
need for another one?
Yeah.
And I've talked about this with a few different people, but my first initial thought is like that there was such... Obviously, there's a big interest in women's volleyball in general. Like, these arenas are selling out watching these games. And obviously from across the 4 leagues that there are, there's a lot of players, some of them even international. Like, my question is, why don't you structure it like sort of like an NBA or even any other professional sports league that has, or at least expand the teams but everybody's under the same leadership? Just because I feel like a lot of them are competing with each other. Like, you have Love Omaha and then you have the Omaha Supernovas. Like, they're in the same cities. So not only are they competing for gym time, but they're also competing for, like, I guess, fans per se, or like
Yeah.
things like that, which I feel like could cause issues in the future. Like, I feel like if everyone would just join together, it'd be, like, it'd just grow faster and be bigger and better. You can add more teams in different cities and things like that. But that's my
Yeah.
initial thought.
Well,
I like
not
it
only-
because there's more.
Yeah. Not only
But-
are the teams competing, but like the founders and investors too. 'Cause I'm
Yes.
pretty sure most of the big major founders, investors, whatever you want to call them, that MLV, the Major League Volleyball, announced are or were invested in the PVF
Yeah.
already. So
kind of.
I think, yeah. So
Yeah.
just like there's just so much overlap. Because my first reaction too was, why do you need a fourth one?
Yeah.
It's like, in a sense, it's good because like competition is good, and eventually one league is going to be the one that like survives. You
Yeah.
know, monetarily, mostly, because
Yeah.
realistically, whichever league gets the most money will probably be the most successful one.
Yeah.
In terms of like viewership and then enjoyment and athlete endorsement and that all that kind of stuff. So eventually, I just think 4 is too many. Like,
Yeah.
you can have competition with 2 leagues.
Yes,
I don't
I feel
think
like
you
the
need
problem
4.
is it's like it might get, not to say watered down, but obviously you
Yeah.
have like some Olympians competing on one team, and then you
Yeah.
have people that are fresh out of college. Obviously they don't have the same amount of experience.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for competition, why aren't the Olympians playing against each other all the time?
Yep.
Like it just,
Yeah.
there's a lot
And-
of questions that I have, but
Yeah.
it's good to
And
see
there's-
women's volleyball.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Good to see things actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, and there's like the VLA now has a women's side to it,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is
So
it's
that
mostly
semi-pro level.
yeah, which is right, not fully professional yet, but even on the
Mhm.
men's side, it's not fully professional yet, but they're trying to get there, and so if
Yeah.
the VLA becomes professional league, then you'll have 5.
Yeah.
So that's the
Interesting.
new news in the volleyball world. But now we can get into our guest interview, conversation, whatever word you want to use, for episode 9. Kaileen Herman. If you haven't checked out the Instagram post with the little bio, check it out. Give us a follow on Instagram. Why not? Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. Pretty much they're all just Bump.Set.Speak wherever you're
Mhm.
looking.
Easy to
Give
find.
us a follow. Why not? You can go check out the little bio, but we talk about it with Lean. So enjoy. Kaileen Herman, or as her close friends call her, Lean. Thank you so
right.
much for joining us here for episode 9.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so I gave the air quotes because Kaileen, we know Kaileen through North Central, as most of our other guests. She was my grad assistant the last 2 years, right? Yeah, the last 2
Yeah.
years. They all blend
Mhm.
together at this point. But I threw up the air quotes because the very first time we met Lean was a Zoom call.
It
And I remember Danny Smithers asked you, he said, what do your friends call you? And
Was
so
it? No, it wasn't Danny.
it wasn't Danny?
I
could
don't
have
know who
sworn
it was.
Danny.
Maybe it was Parker. I think it was Parker.
Oh.
Because Danny didn't come till year 2.
You're right. Okay. Sorry. I apologize to Danny and Parker. My bad. Parker. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. Parker asked, what do your friends call you? And Lean said, well, my close friends call me Lean. And then Parker started calling you Lean, and now everyone calls you
Stuck.
Lean. All right. So, for anyone who did not see the little Instagram post bio that I asked you to create for me, I'll run through that, but then you tell us about yourself, what you do now afterwards. All right. So,
For sure.
you got your Master of Arts in Sports Leadership from North Central. Shout out. Former, and in parentheses, and arguably the best, NCC men's volleyball graduate assistant coach.
Yep.
Washed up setter from the University of North Florida, 1718, and the University of Missouri St. Louis, 1921.
Yeah.
So just in case anybody was curious, I wasn't the one that typed washed up setter. I'm not that mean.
I had a couple comments about it.
It wasn't me. It was you, Lean.
I know.
3-time
it's true.
GLVC first team all conference, 1-time NCAA Division II National Player of the Week, and most importantly, proud Disney adult and dog mom.
That's right. That's right. And I'm proud of it.
As you should be.
She's over here. She's sleeping.
Oh, there's Maddi.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. What am I doing now? I live in Orlando now to be close to Disney, the mouse. And I work for actually a gymnastics company, so it's a little bit of a different twist from volleyball, but I work as their director of outside sales. So I worked for them part-time while I was getting my master's degree in coaching you guys, and it all just kind of fell into place when I graduated and was looking to move, and they offered me to be full-time remote, so that's what I'm doing now, which has been great and fun, and I love it so far. But we will see where the wind takes me within the next few years.
Okay. Where is that located? Where's that out of?
So They're technically based out of Tinley Park, Illinois, is like their main first gym. We've expanded, so there's 2 gyms here in Florida, and then there's 2 gyms up in Illinois. So we're kind of all over the place, but there's one that's actually pretty close to me, like 45 minutes away. So it's a nice drive. Yeah,
That's
we're all
exciting.
over.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah,
That's cool. Okay.
it's fun. It's been good.
And you what breed? That's right. What breed is Nelly? Because I always
She's
forget.
an Australian Shepherd.
Australian Shepherd. Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking.
I always forget. My memory sucks, and I'm also really bad
Yeah.
with dog breeds.
That's
so-
okay. No, that's okay. She looks kind of funky too. But
No,
yeah,
I
she's
don't-
an Australian Shepherd.
Yeah. Nice. How long have you had Nelly?
I actually got her right before I started coaching you guys, so she will be 3 this year. So I've had her for about 2.5 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. It's always good to have a dog. I miss my dog
she
when
made
I'm
the move
here.
with me.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, she's really good in the car. She did great, and I worked for the Amateur Athletic Union last summer actually, and she came down here with me then as well. So she's done the drive to and from Florida to Illinois a couple times now. So
That's what, like 20 some hours?
a little less,
Is
like
it?
16.
Okay.
Not fun. Split it into 2 days for sure.
Yeah,
but
one day would be
It's
crazy.
doable. Yeah, it's not
All
not
right.
the worst thing in the world.
Well, not the worst thing in the world. That's good. And hopefully your volleyball career wasn't the worst thing in the world either. So let's
No.
rewind, if you can, here
Yes.
to like very first time you touched the ball, if you can remember that,
Oh boy.
to
First
your
time I
most
touched the ball.
recent volleyball.
I don't recall the very first time I touched the ball. I remember when I got started in like club volleyball, which was when I was very young, so it's pretty much probably around the same time frame. But I played soccer growing up, so all of like elementary school and beginning of like grammar middle school, I was playing soccer, and I had a neighbor, probably his 7th grade, 11s was my first club year, that came to my mom and said, "Hey, Ultimate Volleyball Club is starting like a short season. Would you want to do it? Or would Kaileen want to do it?" And my mom was like, "Hey, would you be interested in trying volleyball instead of soccer, whatever?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And so I started playing club with Ultimate. So I started a short season my 11s year, and then never gave it up. Ended up quitting soccer, sticking with volleyball. So my next year I played full season club, and then played full season club from 12s to 18s. So
Wow.
don't remember when I touched it for the first time, but it has also been a very long time since then. So ever since I could remember playing sports, it was soccer and then right into volleyball forever.
You're not that old.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're saying it's been
I feel
forever.
it. Yeah, I feel
I
it.
feel old.
Yeah, 5th year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that you played soccer either. I'm learning all kinds of things about
Yeah,
you.
I know you are. Yeah, I played soccer for a long time, like probably 2nd grade until 6th grade when I transitioned over to volleyball. So I played for Ultimate for 2-3 years, I think, and then went over to Uno. Is Uno still around?
It's still a thing.
Yeah? Okay. Went over to Uno for a year, and then got poached going into high school to go to Michio, which is in Evergreen Park. So all the like Mother Macaulay, Marist, all of
okay.
those girls go and play for Michio. So I went my 15th year and started playing for them, and that's where I started and finished out my high school club.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I have not heard of that. The last one.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yep.
We played against them a lot
so-
in club for some reason, but I don't really know
Did
why,
you?
because I was over in Iowa, so I feel like we always played any qualifier we went to, we ended up in the same pool as a Michio team.
As a
so.
Michio team, what club did you play for?
I played for Iowa Select.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. That's interesting. May I think you know, but when Lean coached, she was very quiet, and nobody knew anything about lean until like the last 3 months of the second year.
Unless you ask. That's not true, Ty. Anyone who came and asked knew a bunch about me.
Okay. Well, maybe I just didn't ask until the last 3 months of the second year then.
But it was a great 3 months. Wasn't it?
It was.
Thank
It
you.
was. It was. It was very fun. Very fun.
Yep.
Except for the food ordering, but it's okay.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's a whole nother story. Don't even get me started on the food ordering.
I might. We got a long
Yeah.
episode. I might.
Okay. All right.
So after Michio,
Mm-hmm.
what was the recruiting process like for you?
Yeah. It started very early. I will say that. This was before the NCAA had put in place the rule that you can't talk to them past like a certain date of their junior year, whatever that rule is now. This was before then.
Maybe you are
So,
old.
yeah,
Just
I
kidding.
started the process, or I decided that I wanted to play in college my freshman year of high school. That was like my deciding, like, I'm gonna put all my effort into this. I did everything I could to get to where I wanted to go. Going into my sophomore year of high school is when I started to like really look into the recruiting process and all that type of stuff. So all of my sophomore year of high school was like my big bulk of recruiting. A lot of emails, a lot of calls, a lot of visits, a lot of rejections, a lot of yeses.
How many schools did you visit? I always find that
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
probably 10, maybe around there. Flew out to Florida the summer going into my junior year, so like right after my sophomore year of high school ended, and visited the University of North Florida. Loved it. Loved kind of a new look at life, I guess, outside of Illinois. A lot of the schools that I was looking at previously were close to home and in the Midwest, which is fine, but I wanted something new. And so fell in love with UNF, loved their campus. It was small, but it wasn't too small. And I loved the coaching staff. And so I went home after the visit. I was with my dad and my grandpa, weirdly enough. But I sat down with my parents. I was like, no, this is definitely like where I want to be. I knew right away. And
That's
so,
good.
yeah, I called them like probably the next week and committed to play for them. So going into my junior year of high school was when I was committed. So I had about 2 years to wait to actually go to school, which is crazy to
Yeah.
think about.
That's so interesting to me.
And so I had 2 years of club left, 2 years of high school left, and then I was finally on my way to college. I left early. It was one of those things where they wanted me down as soon as I graduated. So I went down, took a summer term, and started playing with them in that June after I graduated high school. Yeah,
Okay.
but it was long and it was stressful and
Yeah.
cry a lot, but in the end it all works out and it's happy and it's fun and
Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
Well, yeah,
I
I was
wouldn't
just-
have done nothing bad.
Yeah, I'm just always curious about like how many schools people visit, because I know the recruiting processes can be so different for people.
Yeah.
Like I only visited 3, and North Central was like, "Yep, that's the one."
That's the one. You knew
And then-
too.
Yeah, and then I know other people that have visited like 15 or 20. I'm like, well, how
Yeah.
do you decide then?
No,
Like to me that's just like too much sensory overload or something, whatever that word is.
yeah. No, it's for sure different for everyone and like you said, I had club teammates that visited one school and was like, "Yep, this is what I want to do." And then I had others that visited a handful, 15, like you said, and they were like, "I still don't really know." And it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of knew, and so that was when my visiting and things stopped because I don't need to go anywhere else. Like I know this is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how mine went.
That's
it
good.
was good, though.
Maddi, how many did you visit?
I haven't really counted, but it was between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of it for me was like, my senior year of high school was like right after COVID, so a lot of our school was online that fall, or like I guess August to December time frame, so I had the ability to go on those visits and like on a Wednesday, and I wouldn't have to miss school. But I was also really indecisive about lots of things, so ended up visiting a lot more schools than I probably had to. But yeah.
Okay. Was University of Missouri St. Louis, was that one of the schools you visited beforehand? I assume.
Not one of the schools
No.
I visited. One of the schools I talked to head coach's name is Ryan. I talked to Ryan. Didn't remember that I talked to Ryan when I went to enter the transfer portal, and he reached out and said, "Hey, remember when we talked 4 years ago?"
Yeah.
I said, "Sorry, no."
Did you?
But I'm so glad that we're talking now. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say yeah. I feel like a lot of people would be like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. Like, and then go back and be like, did I
Yeah.
talk to him? Like, through
Yeah.
my recruiting email? No, I was like, honestly, no. He appreciated the honesty.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so you spent, how many years did you spend at each, how many seasons?
How many
That's
seasons?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 seasons at UNF. So my freshman season, my sophomore season. After my sophomore season, I transferred over winter break. So instead of finishing out my sophomore year at UNF, I went in December. It was a super bad situation that I had gotten put into. And so in December, when everything had happened with the new coaching staff that came in, I was just kind of done and wanted to be home, and I didn't care whether it included volleyball or not, which is a sad situation, but it is what it is. And it
Yeah,
unfortunately happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to go home, and if volleyball's in my future, amazing. If it's not, it is
It's
what
not.
it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm going to be happy. So during that whole debacle that was going on, I had entered the transfer portal just to see what was going to happen. I didn't do much pushing on my own. I kind of waited to see what came to me, and I had a few emails pour in, a few that I was like, definitely not, a few that I was like, maybe we could see where this goes, I'll reach back out. And then Ryan had emailed me, and when I saw his email saying, hey, we talked, like, what's going on, how are you doing, I texted my mom. I was like, did I talk to this guy? And she was like, yep, you talked to him. So I was like, I'll email him back. And actually ended up on my drive home, like to move home with all my stuff from UNF, stopped in St. Louis, visited, like the next day after a long drive, did a visit, and then finished my drive home that night. And it was the only school I visited when deciding if I was going to transfer or not. There's just not a lot of time, and I ended up liking it. And I, again, love and appreciate Ryan so much. But it was scary. It was a tough decision. And so decided to obviously commit there and continue my years. Went in January, played with them in the spring. So played my junior year, and then senior year, or I guess spring of junior year is when COVID hit. Got sent home, obviously, and that was the season that got like pushed back from the fall to the spring for me, was my senior season. So played that, and during that whole COVID year, it was questionable if we were going to get our eligibility back or not, and everything was up in the air. And when we found out that we were going to, Ryan came to me immediately and said, please come back. I said, all right. You don't have to tell me twice. And so I played my 5th year there. So I played 2 seasons at UNF, 3 seasons at UMSL, and it was great.
Okay. UMSL. Is that what you call it?
UMSL, yeah.
UMSL. Okay.
Yep.
I gotta get with it, Lean. I gotta know all the lingo.
Yeah, UMSL.
That's nice though that
It's a
you
weird
have
one.
that Ryan figure. You know, like
Yeah, he's great.
I feel like a lot of people don't get that very often. Have
Yeah.
that kind of person, like not necessarily looking out for them, but like being there as an option.
Right. And you know what? It was terrifying. I remember like liking the school, really liking Ryan, and going home and talking to my mom and being like, I just don't know. Like, I'm in such a bad space, like with volleyball and mentally, and like, what if the same thing happens that's been going on at UNF, and what if I'm miserable again and this is the wrong decision, and I, like, crying so like for a day being like, I want to, but I don't know if I want to. And my mom eventually was like, you love volleyball so much, like, you are going to regret it if you don't do this. Like, you're going to regret it. Like, okay. So I cried for like 30 minutes, and then my mom was like, just call him. I ended up picking up the phone and calling him and committing to go play for him, and it was the best decision I could have ever made.
Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't be here, Lean. We
That's
wouldn't
right.
be doing this right now.
No volleyball,
If
yeah,
that
it would
didn't
have been
happen.
over. Yeah, so I'm very, very, very thankful, very grateful.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, that goes perfectly with the next segues into the next topic or question. Maddi, this is your question that your ritual to ask.
Yes. Okay, well, you kind of already touched on what your answer might be, but are there any specific like moments or experiences that stick out to you that have had the biggest impact on your life? It can either be positive or negative. Usually people do one positive or one negative, but it's up to you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit. Transferring was the big one. It kind of helped me find my love for just the game of volleyball again. Gave me some really, really good, solid people in my life, a really solid mentor that I still lean on today, literally. I think that the whole situation, and I didn't super explain this before, but the coaching staff that I committed to when I was in high school coached me my freshman year. It was great. It was awesome. They ended up leaving to go a different direction after my freshman year. One went to Coastal Carolina to coach beach. One went to go be a head coach in Texas. Like, they scattered, which is, it is what it is. That's the job. That's the nature of coaching. And they brought in a head coach that was just the complete and total 180 opposite of what I had before and what I committed to and what I liked in a coach. And it was one of those people where you just knew you were going to walk into their office and you were going to walk out crying, like tear you down, just make you feel awful every day. You didn't want to go to practice. You didn't want to go talk to them, which is a lot of people like that coaching style. A lot of people like the staff, and it just wasn't for me. And so it was a big learning curve to try and stick out a whole season with a new staff that was just mentally draining. I got to go a lot of cool places, get a lot of experiences, and learn a lot of what I like and don't like, and how to push through a lot of things that aren't the best, which I'm thankful for. And there's a lot of people also from UNF and the negative situations that I still talk to and we went through together. And I think half of our roster left after that season. Wow. Of just, it was bad. Like, I remember we went to Wyoming, the University of Wyoming, to play in a tournament. And on our plane ride back, our head coach had literally like switched tickets with someone to sit next to me and had me like crying on the plane, of just like tearing me down for just for fun, it felt like. Yeah. And so after that, I officially was like, on the plane ride, I couldn't escape. I couldn't get up. I couldn't leave. I was stuck. Yeah. And so it was just like, after that, you check out and you move on. And so immediately I was like, I'm done after this season. So it was super negative. It was a bad experience. Not to say there aren't positive things that come out of it. But yeah. Positive. UMSL was great. I'm super glad that I got my 5th year. Go ahead, Ty.
No, I was going to say, what was one of those positive things that came from the bad experience? The bad?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people that like you kind of rally with. So you go through, you have this awful situation, and then you have your team and the people that are next to you every single day of practice, next to you every single match that you're in. that really like have your back, you know? And so I think it was a big like learning curve for like, hey, these people are sisters, maybe not for life, but they are like right now.
Yeah.
And that's what you needed, and learning to like lean on people and trust people that you have and that have your back and you have theirs. That was super positive for me, at least, and it was a good like change in my life, to have people that rallied behind me like no matter what.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
I feel like that's always a strong possibility of a positive out of a negative situation.
Yeah.
Because usually, like, it usually helps to have people to go through things with, in
For
no
sure.
matter the situation. So
Yeah,
that's good.
definitely.
That's good. Okay, and then you were saying Umstool was
Umstool.
was a positive
Yeah,
experience after that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously a little bit weird with COVID hitting. Thought it was going to be over. Had kind of a wonky season. But being able to take my 5th year and experience that and get almost a full 4 years out of it, where I now think like, hey, what would have happened if I was there all 4 years? If I was there as a freshman, like, you think about it and you
Right.
think, hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and I'm thankful for the experiences I had. But yeah, Amstel was great. I did end up going down a division because of an injury, so got to heal a little bit from that. Had a lot of people on my side through that. But yeah, it was great. It was fun. A lot of success there, so kind of a 180 from what I was in.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned your injury, so this is good. I asked Colin to make sure to send in some questions, and one of the things he wanted us to talk about was you playing while battling through injury.
Yes.
So as much as you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Don't do whatever. Don't say anything you don't want to say. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I ended up tearing my left hip labrum, shredding it up basically my sophomore year of college again. In the weight room, I remember squatting and feeling a pop, and that was about it. It wasn't something that immediately was like, oh my god, I can't walk. Like, someone needs to get me a wheelchair and like help me walk out of here. It was kind of like a come up out of the squat, be like, that didn't feel great.
Yeah.
And then keep going with your lift sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, I'm going to go to the athletic trainer and see what they think. This really hurts. Like, this is starting to really, really hurt.
Yeah.
And immediately they were like, that doesn't sound good. Like, was it bothering you before? It was like, a little bit. Like, it felt like it needed a pop, but I thought I was going to be fine. And they were like, yeah, let's go to the doctor and see. I ended up going to the doctor, and right then and there, during season my sophomore year, they said, you tore your hip labrum pretty bad. You have 2 options. You can push through and you can play on it. It's not going to be fun. Or you can have this surgery, and you may never be able to feel the same as you have felt before playing. You may never get back to where you were. And so it was kind of a, like, impossible decision, right?
Yeah.
Like, never be what you were before, or push through all this pain. Like, pick your poison.
Yeah.
I ended up picking to push through the pain. Obviously, it came with a lot of extra rehab, extra physical therapy. Over the summers, I was in physical therapy 3 times a week. I was in extra physical therapy and rehab with my athletic trainer constantly, and it stunk. It was terrible. It was a lot of work, and do I regret not having the surgery now? I don't know, because who knows, would I have come back and been the same as I were before?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at schools, when I was transferring, moving down a division was obviously in my best interest. Not that it wasn't extremely challenging either way. It was just a little bit less physically taxing and more forgiving when it comes to like lifting and being able to take some breaks and things like that I needed. So again, UMSL was great about it. They tailored a lot of things in terms of like my lifting program. We had a great like strength and conditioning trainer that was working with me all the time. Our athletic training staff was awesome. Ryan was awesome with needing to take breaks and things. But for my 3 years at UMSL, I was wrapped up in that big ol' hip tape when I couldn't move. I took a lot of ibuprofen and did a lot of extra physical therapy to try and just strengthen the muscles around my hip, because my labrum wouldn't hold it together, essentially. So I was in a lot of pain in my knee and my back because of it, because my hip wasn't giving me the support that I needed, especially with all the jumping and the sharp cutting with setting.
That hurts all of me thinking about it.
Yeah. No, it's painful. So yeah, that was that. I ended up making it through my 3 seasons, thankfully.
That's good.
And it wasn't even a thought when they asked me to come back for a 5th year that was like, oh, maybe I won't make it through a 5th year. I was like, don't care. Another season of volleyball. Like, nice. I've made it this far. I'm going to be fine. Right when that ended, I was like, all right, I need this surgery. Did a little side quest, went to Disney and worked there for 8 months. And then when I came back, I decided that it was time to have surgery. That was when I started with you guys. And so I went through a pretty extensive labrum surgery, because by the time that I was ready to finally have it, I essentially shredded my labrum so much, and I'm sorry if this is graphic, shredded my labrum so much that my ball and socket of my hip were rubbing together. And so I had like mini fractures in the bone of my hip. And so they had to go in and repair my labrum as well as like shave down the bone of my hip. So it was not a fun surgery. I was in a lot of pain, as you know, Ty. I was on crutches for a very long time. I was in a very big brace. It wasn't the best. I am thankfully A-okay now. It doesn't bother me. But I do not play volleyball anymore because of it. So
I was gonna say, was that obviously part of the reason? Like, does it almost make it feel more okay that you're not playing volleyball anymore?
A little bit. I mean, I always hate to use it as almost an excuse. It feels like sometimes be like, oh, why don't you play anymore? I'm like, got a busted hip. Like, it's not really busted anymore. But it was, again, like they had given me the decision in the first place, like, you're never going to be the same after you go through this recovery, especially with how bad my hip, the shape that it was in. And so when I was going through physical therapy after the fact, and I had the same physical therapist for 3 years getting me through college volleyball that I did post-surgery, which was really cool. She asked me every time I came in, she said, are you sure you don't want to play volleyball again? Are you sure you don't want to play volleyball again? Because I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm okay with being done. I just don't want to be in pain anymore. Like, it got to the point where everything I did in life was painful, like just sitting, walking for too long. And so as long as I wasn't in pain anymore, not pushing myself through like a crazy therapy rehab, I was okay with giving up volleyball, which is tough, but
it's one
I
of
got
things
a really good 5 years of college volleyball. So
one of those things you just kind of have to. You just have to.
That's life.
Whatever, you know.
It's life. Yeah.
Like you said,
happens.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. That's What can you do about it?
Yeah, just do the best you can at whatever you're doing. That makes sense.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So from all of that, your volleyball journey has been like that.
It has.
What are some of the most important skills that you've gained through all of that help you in your everyday life now, post volleyball?
Well, I think you touched obviously a little bit on it earlier. I'm a pretty like introverted, quiet person by nature. I always have been. Through volleyball and being a setter, and I'm sure obviously both of you guys can touch on it, being setters, it's not quite the position you could be the biggest introvert, quietest person in the entire world. I think that through volleyball I was able to find kind of my own leadership style, I guess, that worked for me in the run of it all, and I've been able to kind of just transfer that into life, whether it be work, friendships, just communicating in general, being able to take what I learned from volleyball and being thrown into leadership positions and being that setter, being the captain, being whatever it may be. Just learning how to talk to a team, work with a team, lead a team has been probably my biggest takeaway from it all.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the things that when you were GAing for us, one of the things that we talked about with X-Line and me was how to, like, because our team dynamic had changed so much from the first year to the second year, how to kind of change your like leadership style or leadership personality without changing like my own personality.
Right.
And
yeah. You got to kind of adapt to the personnel around you without completely and totally changing yourself. It's difficult, it's tough, and it's definitely something that you'll see in real life. It's for sure hard. But it's worth it. Yeah, I agree. Maddi, would you agree through your 3 coaches in 4 years that you basically kind of had to do a lot for everybody?
Yeah. Yes, I would agree.
That's tough. That's really hard.
It was not the greatest, but I did it, so.
That's right.
It's an accomplishment in itself.
Hey, and you ended with Ray, so.
I did.
Shout out Ray.
He was awesome.
Ray's great.
Shout out him. He was awesome. Yeah.
Ray probably doesn't remember, but Ray coached me at a camp one time. But I remember Ray.
You remember?
He probably remembers you. He remembers a lot of people. So.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Ray
there
was
was
great.
so many times.
Ray.
Yeah, there were so many times we had people come up to him every game we went to. It's like, were you the coach at NIU? I came to this camp. And he'd be like, oh, what high school did you go to? And we'll like remember at least one thing about them, and it was kind of crazy.
That's so funny. That's impressive. Good skill.
We'll have to ask him next time we see him. Maddi, do you know when he's in his office? You ask him when he's in the office next, and I'll go talk to him because I'll probably be in the same hallway anyway.
Yeah, so you'll probably be there before I will.
Well, Lean, we were trying to get Ray to announce some of my games this year because right now there's just one guy that is part of Sports Info that has he has broadcasting experience, but he doesn't really have volleyball broadcasting experience.
Yep.
So, like, you know, that anytime there's a new broadcaster to a new sport, it's difficult, but like he does a solid job. And so me and Nicholas Osterloo, the assistant sports info director, he is the one that has glasses. If you remember.
Yep.
Okay. We were joking, like, you should mic me up on the sideline while I'm out for the preseason games. Mic me up. I'll commentate.
That's so funny.
Then we had emailed because we talked to Ray. I was in Kevin's office. It's not X-Line's office anymore.
Yes.
It's so sad. We were in Kevin's office, and Ray had walked by, and he stopped and we chatted for like 10 minutes, whatever. And I jokingly was like, Ray, you're gonna announce our games this year? Because this was right after he had announced Loyola season opener. This like last weekend or whatever, Friday, Saturday, with Alex Campbell, who does North Central games sometimes. So it was like a crazy connection because now X-Line and Sid are there too, and it's all that. But I said it, and he was like, yeah, I will. Talk to Nick. if
There
Nick
you
reaches
go.
out to me, I'll do it.
There you
So,
go.
I told Nick. I think Nick would prefer to try to get student experience
Yeah, right.
as
That
which
makes
like
sense.
yeah.
But
anyway.
right.
So, I'm hoping that maybe Ray will commentate some of our bigger conference games that
Yeah.
NCTV is not there for.
For
I think
sure.
that'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun. Aw, I miss North Central.
That's okay.
Crazy, huh?
It's warm in Florida.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I know it's not as cold
Okay.
as where you are,
Yeah, I
but
was
let me actually check. It's 43 degrees. Yeah, that's cold. It's actually snowing in parts of Florida right now.
It
I was
is-
gonna say I saw that
it is
today.
cold.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's not negatives, but I am
mean-
still really cold.
If it was 43 here right now, I'd be wearing shorts.
All
That's
right.
how much warmer it would feel.
All right. I understand that. But I think it's really chilly.
Yeah, well, compared to what is it usually? Like at least 70?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully we
okay.
get back to that soon. I don't know. I'm really enjoying not having to wear a winter jacket, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pull one out.
Yeah. I was going to say, did you bring your winter clothes to Florida?
No, I imagine that. I had to buy a new winter jacket in Florida. I didn't think I'd ever need it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is actually kind of interesting.
I know. I know. It's terrible. That's okay though. I am in Florida, so I can't complain too much.
No, that's reasonable. You can.
Thank you.
You can. All right. One more question. Topic,
Yes.
whatever, before the Q&A.
Okay.
This can be any level of depth. It can be any topic. You get to
Yes.
choose how you answer this question. What is something that
Oh,
you've
gosh.
changed your mind about lately?
Oh boy, changed my mind about it. I'm pretty just stubborn. Period.
Or maybe you haven't changed your mind yet, but it's something that you've thought about more.
Yeah, I think that just in general, like I said, I'm a pretty stubborn person, and I'm a person who likes to have things planned and have a roadmap and know what's next, right? So I like to know, like, what's it gonna look like in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I like to have a plan, and I like to kind of visualize that. I think entering the adult world officially after graduating, it's kind of changed that a little bit for me. I think that I am much more in a mindset where I don't need to know what I'm doing in the next 6 months, year, 5 years. I like to just kind of live every single day, and kind of take it that way, day by day, a little bit more, and experience the things that I'm going through right now, and the position in life that I'm in right now. And so that's definitely a big change for what I've always thought and been, I guess, going through life, even with just like, you could relate it back to volleyball. Freshman year, I knew I wanted to play college volleyball. Sophomore year, committing to where I'm going to go for the next how many ever years, And so just kind of not having that plan and allowing myself to live day by day,
Mhm.
that's a big change, and it's been a good one so far.
Yeah, okay. I was going to ask how it's been, so that's good.
It's good.
Nice.
Obviously, you
good.
get stressed every once in a while with things, but
Right.
I think that it's been a good and refreshing thing for me overall, to kind of let myself
Yeah.
just enjoy the now.
Yeah. Well, you'd still get, I assume or generalize it, you'd still get stressed if you have that plan and then something doesn't go according to that plan.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So, like, there'll still be those stresses either way.
Definitely. Always.
Interesting. Okay. I like that answer.
Thank you.
I would tell you if I didn't like your answer, but I probably wouldn't not like your answer. But
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I do like your answer.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's a big change. It's a good one.
No, it is good. It is good because when we asked Bailey last episode, she didn't have an answer right away, and so me and Maddi had to come up with answers, and I could not come up with an answer to save my life. So
No, that's okay.
no. So that's why I'm saying that's a good answer, and I like your answer.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do some Q&A, some fan
Let's
Q&A.
do it. Oh boy,
Man.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
boy.
And Maddie, when I sent the document to Lean, I didn't. I took out the Q&A questions, so she doesn't know them yet.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, that's a little scary.
No, they're not bad. They're not bad.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. The first one is from Colin, and it's, how did you like the transition from player to coach, and then also from women's to men's volleyball?
Loved the transition from player to coach. I think it was a really interesting transition. I learned a lot about it, about just general skills, professional skills, and then being able to lead in a different position than I was before. So I think that, at least in my experience, what it always was that as a setter, I was a little bit of a liaison between coaching staff and team, and so you got that kind of look into coaching. Obviously, you don't get the full look into it, and it was always something that was interesting to me while I was a player, and I loved to go into Ryan's office and just pick his brain about things, and that was something that I loved about volleyball in general. So to be able to go officially over into the coaching side, it was really fun. It was cool. It was cool to see how X-Line worked. Obviously, every coach is different, and so every experience you would have with a different coaching staff would be different, but I enjoyed my time switching over from player to coach. Women's to men's, also loved it. I don't know how amazing of a women's coach I would be. You could probably ask Colin that question. He would tell you the same thing. And I guess it's gonna sound like a knock on myself. I'm not the most empathetic person, and women are just by nature more emotional than men are. And I don't handle that the most amazing. And so it's a little bit easier with men who are less emotional. That is what it is. I also just like the switch from playing the women's game to learning the men's game. Obviously, it's a little bit different, with just it's quicker, faster, stronger. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a little nerve-wracking going into it, unsure of how they would be about having a woman coach. Obviously, they had Sydney, so that was reassuring. But yeah, it was good. I really liked it. And I would continue to coach boys or men if the opportunity were to present itself, for sure.
Only in Florida, or would you go somewhere else? I'm just curious.
For right now, in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Colin, I hope that suffices your question. Suffices to answer your question.
If it doesn't, I don't want to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll probably go. Thanks, Ty. Those are interesting, though. I mean, that's those transitions are big ones. So.
Yeah.
All right, next question. And this is why I was kind of smiling earlier when you were talking about being introverted while being a setter. Because this question comes from Parker. And I'll read it to you exactly how he sent it in. Okay. Setting is such an inherent leadership position. What does being a leader mean to you?
Yeah. Ooh, good question, Parker. Thank you. I think that, well, obviously I love leadership. My master's degree is in leadership. I think leadership just in general is so interesting because it's so different for everyone. And it's so impactful in every situation. So just in life, in your profession, in volleyball, in sports, whatever it is, leadership is so important. That being said, as an introverted leader, I always thought it was so interesting that I didn't say much, but when I did say things, they were very well respected, because people knew that when I did say something, I really meant it, I really felt it, and it really mattered to me. And so being able to kind of sit back and listen to what everyone had to say, whether it be like in a timeout, after a match, after a practice, whatever it was, and then kind of pick my moments to say what I wanted to say and have those be like really well received, was really big for me. And so just having that impact as a leader, to be someone that people can go talk to individually, that they can lean on, that they know is gonna listen and respect them and have their back no matter what, and then also be the person that can kind of flip the switch in front of the group and say what needs to be said and be respected no matter what is said, I guess.
Yeah. I can relate to that. That's very similar to
For sure.
the way that my leadership style is.
Yep.
Yeah, don't say a lot, but when I do, it's important, kind of
It's
thing.
important.
Like,
and people listen and people follow. And so you could be someone that says a lot, and you could say it as loud as you want, and nobody may listen because you say it so many times, and just because you're louder than everyone else doesn't mean anybody cares what you have to say. So it just, it's definitely different, but
there's a lot of people that need to hear that, Lean.
yeah. I know.
Just because you're loud doesn't mean people listen to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I very much simplified what you were saying, but
no, that's exactly what I was saying. You're right.
Yeah. Maddi, are you similar, same way?
Yeah, very similar. Something that I had to be told when I got to college is to like say what I was thinking, because if you ask me in a one-on-one setting, most of the time whatever coach I had would come back and be like, well, why didn't you say that? It's just like something that I had to learn, that like you said, like what you say carries meaning.
Okay. So now I know how to get Maddi to talk more during our podcasts. I just have to say, Maddi, it's your turn now. What do you think? Just kidding. That's true, though. It's very real.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another one from Colin, I believe, was the next one.
Yep. It's actually for Tyler.
Oh, right.
But it's about lean. So he wrote,
Careful,
question for you, Ty.
Don't say that.
What was one of your favorite things about having Lean as a coach?
Okay. Good question, Colin. I saw this earlier, and I haven't really been thinking about it because I wanted to answer in the moment. And I think, well, also I had practice to go to. That's why I didn't really think about it. But I think having a setter coach has always been helpful for me, just because they understand. They played the game with a similar viewpoint from the same vantage point, pretty much. So like my 17th year, my coach was a former professional setter, and that's when I went from setting the ball like this to like actually setting normal. 18th year, I had a great coach, but he wasn't a setter, and he was more of a team morale guy, and it was like better for maybe like team overall improvement, but I myself didn't feel like I grew as a setter that much and really as a person. But then when I had Lean, I think because you are also a introverted leader, as you claimed, self-proclaimed. That's like something that I very much am also. And so being able to relate and talk about those things, even like the very few times that we talked about it, or like the few words that were shared when we talked about it, because it was just like we understood, and we just had a similar vantage point. I think that's my answer. I also enjoyed travel trips. Were fun.
Travel trips were fun. No, that's a good answer. I appreciate that, Ty. Thank you.
Yeah.
You didn't especially like when I asked you what the heck you were looking at all the time? The heck were you looking at?
I don't remember this. Remind me.
When
I
feel like I was always in your ear on the bench asking you what the heck you were looking at.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's even
Maybe you were
something
just
I
locked
could hear
in.
sometimes at the table. Like when I would work the games, I'd be there, and you'd make a decision on the court. Kaileen would look at X-I and go, "Why did he do that?"
Oh, okay.
So I feel like maybe you just didn't catch on.
No, I probably in the moment I probably just didn't hear you.
You're locked in. I can respect that.
So to answer, no, I did not enjoy that. All right, and then the last of the Q&A sessions before our final question comes from my brother Sean.
Okay.
It is not volleyball related.
Okay.
He said, "What is your favorite Disney movie?" There are only 3 correct answers.
Oh no.
That's what he said.
Okay. My favorite Disney movie personally is Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. I just loved it when I was a kid. It was my favorite one growing up, and so it's my favorite one now.
That's fair.
To answer what my favorite movie is as an adult, Coco, great movie, amazing movie, or Tangled.
Okay.
Those would be my top 3. And that's my correct answer, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to know his top
Stand
3.
your ground,
Can you
Lee.
get back to me with that?
I can tell you right now. I already have it. He said Atlantis. That's his all time.
Okay.
Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, great movie.
Which
can
I
respect
also
that
enjoy.
Answer.
And Treasure Planet.
What is that?
Have you not heard of that?
No.
Interesting. Okay. It's here because I've only seen it a couple times and I don't really remember it. I googled it.
Okay.
Wikipedia says Treasure Planet is a 2002 American animated science fiction adventure film. That's the genre.
Okay.
I'm skimming. Yeah, you can search too. This guy goes. I'm really bad at telling this story because I think I've seen it once or twice. But this guy goes on a hunt for treasure, basically.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna watch it tonight, just so I could say I've seen it. Maybe it'll break my top 3. Maybe not. I'll let you know.
Okay, and I'm really sorry for that very poor description of Treasure Planet.
That's okay.
All right, you have to get back to me, Leanne.
I will.
About this.
I will. As soon as I watch it, which is probably gonna be tonight.
As soon as we hang up.
As soon as we end this.
Okay. What about Atlantis? You had no reaction to Atlantis.
I don't really have an opinion on Atlantis. Okay. I've also never seen it. I do know what it is, actually. So I can't say anything positive or negative about it because I don't really know.
Emperor's New Groove is just great. That's a classic.
That's a great movie.
I'm glad you at least know that one.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be worried if you didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so Sean, there's your answer.
Yeah.
All right, last question that we like to ask everybody. Who is somebody that you met through volleyball specifically that has had the biggest impact on your life?
Can I say 2?
Of course.
2. Okay. First, we talked about him a lot, but Ryan, so my coach from UMSL.
Does he still coach there?
He does still coach there. He does.
Shout out Ryan.
Yeah, shout out Ryan. Was just very much dedicated to helping me love volleyball again. And so it was something that I can probably never repay him for. Gave me a great 3 years. And again, I still talk to him all the time, go to him for advice, called him a lot during North Central, get his opinion on a lot of things. Just overall wonderful, amazing human who impacted my life in ways that I wish I could even explain. Second person, and Colin, turn this off if you're listening because I don't love being nice to you. Second person would be Colin. So I thought that was really funny.
Just because it's so accurate.
Yeah, no, I don't. But no, he knows it. Met Colin through volleyball, through mutual friends of volleyball. Became really close with him probably my freshman, sophomore year of college. Is, as you know, Ty, my very best friend now. Go to him for everything. Super, super lucky to be able to convince him to coach with us at North Central. I'm sure you guys, and I know you guys did, love him. And so just the impact that he's had on me as a friend in life has been crazy. So he's the best. Don't ever tell him I said that. Hopefully he turned it off.
No, you know he's listening.
Second one would be Colin. Yeah.
Nice. Shout out Colin too.
Shout out Colin. Shout out.
I have to tell you. So, because I'm, about my 6-game thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So because I'm not playing right now, which is fine to say. I don't care if people hear. Pretty much everybody knows at this point anyway. I'm not allowed to dress either, so I'm on the bench as I got a clipboard, so I felt fancy.
Yeah.
On Sunday when we played NYU, they read off, how they read the starters and then they read the coaches. They said, head coach Kevin Kasura, assisted by Matt Nelson and Colin Ensalako. I said, I don't know why, because he's not on the roster anymore. But they read his name off, and so I was like, oh, cool, I get to be Colin for a game.
He lives on through Ty. You know what, Ty? He actually sent me that. He sent me a screenshot of that conversation.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I LOL'd at the entire conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, the second half, too?
Yeah, all of it.
Yep, okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It made me laugh.
That's good.
That's really funny, though. Yeah, he did tell me that he liked that for himself as well. He just lives on for no reason.
Yep.
But
yep. There's one person that is on campus now. No idea who it is, but we only see them like very rarely, like once every few weeks. That from the back looks like Colin. and who JB and Kaileen always have like such a fun time. They're like, Herb's here.
That's so funny.
And they get everybody to look every single time.
Everyone's like, oh wait, it is. Just kidding. It's not. He should wear that baseball like short sleeve quarter zip that Colin wears all the time. Really.
I don't know if I have a short sleeve quarter zip though.
Yeah, only Colin does, I swear.
Maybe I'll have to invest.
Yeah. Gift
invest
it to that
in
guy.
A short sleeve quarter zip.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Lean, that you would like to talk about, or questions that you have for us, or anything before we wrap up episode 9?
I don't think so. No, it's been fun. I'm so happy to have been on the podcast. I've been waiting for this day.
Yes.
If anyone doesn't know, I've been bothering Ty since his first podcast he's recorded to put me on the podcast, and I finally have been successful, and that's what matters.
That is
Just
very exciting.
Be persistent. That's my advice I'm going to leave everyone with. Be persistent and really push for things that you care about.
I have a really bad leg cramp right now. I'm sorry. Okay. Stretch the hamstring. Lean, I've been stretching almost every day now, which is like what you should do.
Like-
I know.
Like Moser level stretching or like
No.
normal level
I
stretching?
don't think I could ever reach Moser level stretching.
Okay, so normal level stretching.
Right.
That's good.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Can
but
you touch
apparently,
your toes yet?
yeah, I can touch my toes.
Really?
Yes.
I was expecting a no.
Next time I see you, Lean, I'll prove it to you.
All right.
And by then, I'll be 6 months more flexible.
Yeah,
Or
you're gonna be
how-
palms on the
however
floor.
long.
It's not even gonna be the toes.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Lean, so much for joining. Had a blast.
Yes, of course. Thank you
And,
guys.
I will keep in mind the idea that we had over alumni weekend of you and Colin
Yes.
together. I think that would be
Of
fun.
course, that would be really fun.
That'd be
It would
so
be a whole
funny.
podcast of us just making fun of each other. So, that
A
would
fun
be
future episode to come.
probably electric.
Might need some. We can label that one as explicit and
Yeah.
not safe for
With a little
kids.
Yeah, that's good.
We could do that ahead of time.
Oh, also, let me actually leave you on this. Can you please send me your mom's brownie recipe now that I'm on?
Yes,
that
now that you're
allowed?
gone, I will. I will do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
For the record,
Mrs.
My mom
Donovan,
makes
you have the best brownies
excellent.
in the whole world.
I do have to say I'll give credit to. It's not actually her recipe, which may be a secret. It might be a spoiler. You might hate it
Okay.
now.
No,
It was
definitely not.
Sean played at MSOE,
Mhm.
and one of his teammates' moms made those brownies.
Whoa.
And so I was in like, I don't even remember, ending middle school. So I was like 12, 13 when he was playing.
Mhm.
And so we'd go to the games. I was like the younger brother, the little brother.
Yeah, that guy.
And there weren't that many families that went. That guy. What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, long story short, Joe and his mom made the brownies. Joe always made sure to give a brownie to me.
Mm.
So shout out Joe and his mom. I made sure
love
my
Joe.
mom got it when I graduated high school and came here. I said, Mom, can you please get the brownie recipe from Joe's mom?
And you know what? She makes them wonderfully.
It's worth it.
So,
It's worth it.
thank you. That's kind
All
of
right.
the highlight of every match for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It still is. Still is.
Okay, sorry for that. Oh my god. Sorry for that tangent. I just wanted to
No,
see
that's
that.
okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Lean, for
Of
joining.
course.
We
Yes,
really
thank
appreciate you
you.
Of
taking the time.
course. Bye, guys. Nelly?
Bye, Nelly.
Oh, bye.